Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenahan.
It's good to have you with us. Thank you for downloading the podcast and spreading it around to other people, sharing it on your socials. We've just had a record month of downloads, and we have you to thank for that. Thank you so much. Before we get started today, I've got two great guests today, and we'll introduce you in just a second. But I've got to tell you about our friends at Discover Sooner, discoversooner.com. Say you're a songwriter, and you're writing these great songs today, and you're wondering, what do I do with them? Or maybe you're looking for someone to collaborate with, or a publisher, or maybe you're looking for that publishing deal. Well, you got to get connected to the folks here in Nashville, and a good way to do that is Discover Sooner. So remember, discoversooner.com. And if you listen to our podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, with Nancy Deckant, she's the CEO, and she'll tell a little story about how she created Discover Sooner and why. And I'll tell you, it's doing a fantastic job. She's got people from all over the world now that are getting discovered, and that's the thing to remember. Get discovered sooner at discoversooner.com. Okay? Our guests today are Robert Spanburgh and Anna Sullivan, who's going to sing some background. Hit it, Bob. Let's do a song, brother.
I grew up in a house full of love, and in my neighborhood you had to be tough. I got by with my fist, a twinkle in my eye. I had all I ever wanted until I got high. Killed a man in a crack house, so they threw me in the big house, cell no bigger than a doghouse. They say it's where I belong. Kept getting caught in a cat house. I was a fox in a hen house. Now they're never gonna let me out till I rest in the house of the Lord. Mama prayed for me every day and night. I should have followed her lead, but no, I chose a different life. Sympathy for the devil, so I ran with him. He knew me so well, son, we just close as kin. We killed a man in a crack house, so they threw me in the big house, cell no bigger than a doghouse. They say it's where I belong. Kept getting caught in a cat house. I was a fox in a hen house. Now they're never gonna let me out till I rest in the house of the Lord. That clock struck 12, there was still no call. And my 9 lives, well, I used them all. I won't be the first, ain't gonna be the last. So walk me down that mile, boys, and just get this over fast. Killed a man in a crack house, so they threw me in the big house, cell no bigger than a doghouse. They say it's where I belong. I couldn't make it on the outside, I found peace on the inside. Take me now, I'm ready to die, and rest in the house of the Lord. I'm ready to die and rest in the house of the Lord. I'm ready to die and rest in the house of the Lord.
Robert Spanburgh Let me turn my mic on and tell you, it's Robert Spanburgh and Anna Sullivan singing the beautiful background harmonies there. Fantastic song, Robert.
Thanks, man.
Good to have you on Songwriter Connection today.
Man. Thank you, man. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Really
Played with you. Got to play with you last night at the world famous Donaldson Pub. We were taping this in late September for a November release, but it was a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you, it was good playing with you.
It was. Same here, too, man. You yourself are an amazing songwriter. You said you've only been here 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years. We used to come down a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And right? Yeah,
but for yourself, man, for being here 8 years, man. First things I wrote my first 8 years here, I've probably thrown them all away. But
how long you been in town?
22 years now.
And you came from?
The Philadelphia
area?
Yeah, I was in Philly and Jersey, and I played in the tri-state area there.
Okay.
I was with bands and stuff, but my heart was always with acoustic guitar and songwriting, and that's where that's where my...
Is that what attracted you to Nashville then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the, in the 90s when I was hearing, people like... we talk about Freddie Johnston, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Michael Johnson. I'm hearing this, and the Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks comes along.
Yeah, I'm hearing
changes
this.
things.
I'm like, I was getting a little long on the tooth playing in rock and roll bands up there. I'm like, but acoustic guitar playing and songwriting was always where my heart laid.
Yeah.
I remember my mom used to play Kenny Rogers records at home, and I hear these songs. I'm like, I want to be a songwriter, man.
Yeah.
And I was an entertainer. I already had that down.
Yeah.
I've always been an entertainer. Even when I'm not entertaining,
I can hear my cats crying in the background.
Hey, that's okay because
do this.
We have 13 cats, if not 14.
13. Yeah.
Yes, man. Yeah. So
that's Juliet making her presence known.
That's okay. That's okay. We're cat house.
Cat house.
That's us.
Yeah.
That's where I came up with that line at our house. How we doing?
Yeah. There's Patty.
When I wrote that song, it's funny. People hear that song and I write a lot of songs about that and redemption, and when they hear that, people are like, "Did that really happen to you?" And I'm like, "No, but my brother spent some time in the can, and I've had a checker pass myself. I'm no angel.
Yeah,
I've done some things where I got myself in a behind bars. But I always tell people I've been to jail, but I've never been to prison.
There you go.
But and that's when you learn to write a song.
You pull on those experiences
of course,
to write the song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing less, nothing really spectacular about the facts. Fiction is good. You know what I mean? Fiction is good. When you take, I always say a great song is 80% real, and then you judge it in there. You put about 20% of. But I did use my brother as the muse there.
There you go.
I did.
Yeah.
And when I had that idea for that song, with the houses and stuff, and I just used my brother as the muse, and he was caught in a.
I think that's the first song I remember seeing you play, and I believe it was at Commodore. A few years ago.
Yeah.
But I remembered that song.
Yeah, I had some interest with that. I had Julie Howard was looking at that. Jeannie Howard was looking at but it's okay.
There she is. She got to say hello.
But I've always had that people. That song has been kind of my signature song.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, we do this around the dining room table at my house in Hermitage outside of Nashville. So sometimes there are intrusions like that from kiddies.
No intrusion at all.
Yeah. She just loves. She's there to love you.
Well, Blythe's here to
Blythe's here giving her. See, she won't let you stop.
Pretty kitty.
That's okay.
She'll probably be in your lap in no time.
Cool. Well, awesome, man. That's great.
Well, good to have you here. And any thanks for you coming too. I mean, you sang with us last night too at the pub. You've got some great songs yourself and a tremendous voice.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, very good. So it's good to have you here. Tell me about your style a little bit and how it developed and where it came from.
Awesome. I'll tell you a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for an electric guitar and an amp when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And my mom bought me a guitar, and my brother, he worked in a junkyard. He found an amp, and he drove up from Jersey when we moved outside of Philly. He drove up. He's like, I'll bring Robert an amp, and he got me an amp, and I'm sitting in my room, and I'm playing. And that was the year that Van Halen came out. And then I hear this.
Yeah, the scratching and the tapping. Yeah.
And I said to my mom, I want to trade this in for an acoustic guitar. She's like, what? right? What kid does that, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I said, I want to trade it in for acoustic guitar. And I said, I want you to buy me a Jim Croce record.
Oh, wow. Jim Croce.
She bought me Jim Croce, Time in the Bottles, Greatest Hits, and the guitar. And I sat and I learned those songs when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. Wow. And all my buddies were in the garage doing it. The tapping and stuff playing.
And you were going a different route.
I'm going a different route. Yeah. And I'm in the bars playing gigs, 17 years old, making money, playing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. And love those songs.
I'll never forget, I came home, and my mom was sleeping at the door because my mom worked hard. I'm almost getting a tear in my eye when I think about this. My pockets were stuffed with cash. And I came home and I just took the money and I threw it on over my mom. I said, look, Mom, look what I did. And my mom was my biggest fan.
Wow.
She always, I'm sorry.
That's no problem, man. And, I totally understand.
Yeah, and so I was 18, so all my buddies were still in there trying to learn all these, and I'm just, Starry Night.
No, yeah.
Paint your palette blue and gray.
Absolutely.
And I was, and that's how I got started. And I was, I'll never forget, I was playing in this bar called Cannons in Allentown, PA. I was playing here for 2 years, and people came in and they were wishing me happy 21st birthday. And the owner looked at me. He threw me out.
Threw you out?
He's like, you've been playing here, drinking in my bar for the last 2 years, playing music?
And you're not 21?
Yeah, I was in there. Well, I was 19 years old when 18 or 19, I was there. And I had a brand new daughter at that time, And so, I was out there trying to make money because we didn't stay together, me and my wife. Because unfortunately, music was, my first love, and I was a young kid. I didn't know any better, you know what I mean? But I always wanted to play music. I was working 2 or 3 jobs, but I had to play music almost to support myself.
Yeah.
Kind of kept me grounded in a way, but kept me grounded in a way that I couldn't really leave where I wanted to be from. I had other opportunities maybe to come to Nashville or go to LA or go to New York more often, but I had bills to pay. You know what I mean? You have a child, you got child support.
Yeah, you got to do it. It changes things.
Oh yeah. And boy, she came after that money, let me tell you. I'll never forget, the lawyer used to say they should bring me into court. Mr. Spanburgh plays in an orchestra. They used to call it an orchestra.
An orchestra.
An orchestra, yeah.
Yes.
There's money from his art. I was like, it's not an orchestra. I'm just playing guitar in a bar, man. Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
So that was my style, man. That's how I got started.
Now, do you remember when you wrote your first song and how it came about?
Oh yeah. I was in love with a girl.
It's always a girl.
It's always a girl.
Yeah.
Her April Payne. I'll never forget. I forget how it goes.
I'm amazed that you remember. That's great.
That same thing off the D chord. You're playing right. That sounds great. Right. That little thing, and I wrote my first song at that. But I used to go into. If people don't remember, I'm old. I'm 57. You go into Spencer's. Remember Spencer's?
Oh yeah.
And I would go in, and they had the posters there.
Yeah.
You flip back.
I remember.
They had posters of bands. And that's how I learned to play the bar chord. I saw a picture of Jimmy Page doing this. And I watched it, and I went home, and I went...
It works!
Wow, you can move that around.
Yeah.
And as you walk down the road.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's it. So,
yeah. And you learned that from a poster.
I learned that from a poster.
That's great.
Luckily today, kids and people have... you can learn guitar for anything, but
yeah, all the YouTube videos and stuff.
I learned the hard way. You found any way you could. You went to clubs. You watched people. Anybody you saw, any event. I don't care if it was anything. If there was a little thing in a park, I would go and I would just watch, and I would watch people entertain and watch what they did, and take a little bit from everybody I saw, and learn how to be an entertainer and learn how to entertain a crowd.
Yeah. Borrow a little here, and there, and here.
Yeah.
And all these pieces come together.
Yes, sir.
And next thing you know, you're you.
Yeah.
That's great. And that's the best advice I can give to young, upcoming talent songwriters.
Yeah.
And find that voice. But sometimes, you got to learn. You got to observe the craft and observe the people that are doing it.
Don't try to be like anybody else.
Right.
Take bits and pieces.
Yeah.
There would be no Michael Jordan without Magic Johnson. There would be no Magic Johnson without Dr. J. There would be no Dr. J without the Ice.
Yeah, you're right.
You take pieces of this and you make it into your own.
That's right.
Your own collage. You know what I mean?
That's great advice.
Like last time, people think, oh, I sound a lot like Springsteen. Like that's great. I find that to be a great,
Was Bruce a big influence on you?
I wouldn't say he is a big, but I'm
you're from
I'm from that area, so
yeah.
I get that. Like I told you, I've never even owned the Bruce album, but I listen to a lot of Bruce. I listen to his emotion of what he does,
right.
Not so much the songwriting. I don't try to emulate his voice or his playing, or but I do. I guess I do emulate him because he speaks to my soul.
Yeah,
he's writing songs that are making a difference in people's lives.
I remember the first time I heard him. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
And there was a station there, WMMS, excuse me, allergy season. And they used to do this Friday night salute every Friday at 6. And they had the Get Down Man. And every day after this, it would pump you up for the weekend. And they would play this Born to Run song. And this was years before Born to Run, the album, came out, because it was caught in litigation and all the lawyers were fighting and stuff.
Yeah, I've read the
so
book.
I remember I've got to go to a record store and find Bruce Springsteen. There were only 2 records at the time. Greetings from Asbury Park and Wild the Innocent and the East Street Shuffle. So I bought them both, and I thought, surely it's got to be on. And it wasn't on either one of those records. No. So what? Yeah. But I listened to those records, and at the time, especially the first one, they were kind of comparing this guy to a city Bob Dylan, and I really loved Dylan.
Exactly.
And I started to listen to his lyrics and his style. And
John Hammond was, John Hammond managed Dylan, and so that's why John Hammond liked him, because John Hammond worked with Dylan, and listen to that stuff.
Yeah, and the rest was history.
Yeah,
right? We finally got to hear the whole album, Born to Run, and still one of my favorite ones. So.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How about you play another one?
Sure.
Yeah.
That first one was from my last.
Yeah, you have a CD out right now, right?
Yeah, EP 5-song.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get together with another one. I work with Mark Elliott.
Mark Elliott, yeah.
We're kindred spirits. We love his stuff, and we've heard some of the stuff he's done. I'm trying to get with him, and
good.
He's a busy guy, but I think he's right up my alley for him to kind of produce my stuff, and I think he gets what I do. And
great. That's awesome.
This is the title of the EP called Fresh Coat of Paint.
And it's available. It's out there, right?
Yeah, this has this funny story to it. It's available, on Spotify and all. CD Baby. And
we'll get the story of the song after the song. Drop that deep.
Baby, I'm like an old used car. Good enough for getting around your town, but don't try to go too far. 'Cause you know the faster you go, the more it gets dangerous. Got too many miles on me now to handle your kind of love. I can't be what I ain't. There's no way that I'm gonna change with a fresh coat of paint. So covering me up with your love won't be good enough. Take a good look on sound of my wood, you'll only find dirt and rust. So don't get your hopes up too high, or try to depend on me. No. 'Cause I'll only break down and leave you on some dead-end street. Now I can't be what I ain't. No. There's no way that I'm gonna change with a fresh coat of paint. And you can fill me up with your love, but it won't burn clean. No. I'm running rough, darling, give up on this old machine. Yeah, yeah. You see, I can't be what I ain't. There's no way that I'm gonna change with a fresh coat of paint. A fresh coat of paint. You're just a fresh coat of paint. Fresh coat of paint.
You know, people ask me sometimes, they say, Dave, why do you do a podcast? And this is the reason why, right here. To hear talent like you around
thanks,
this
man.
dining room table.
Thank you, man.
Singing a song like that with
Thanks.
the lovely Anna singing the
Thanks.
harmony behind you.
Thanks, man.
Amazing song. Fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, it's kind of. Anna's sitting next to me here, and I probably shouldn't tell the story, but
Oh, we got to hear the story behind the song. So, and we're not going to make her leave the room.
okay. Well, when I moved here, I was kind of engaged, and I got here, and I got and
Okay, maybe you better leave
yeah, I was with you, Dad. I made this girl move here, and we were in love, and we got engaged and everything, but I realized when I got here, man, it's just like, whoa, I was immersed in this. I had to be out all the time doing this thing, and then, unfortunately, I got with somebody that was quite much younger than me. And, we dated for a while, but we realized we didn't have nothing in common. I realized I made a mistake, and, but life goes on. Anna came into my life, and, and saved me from myself. But when I was writing that song, I had the idea, and I was like, that's a pretty good idea. It's like, once again, you have to look back. You look back in your catalog in your mind. I'm like, fresh coat of paint. Like, it's just, this. She was just a young girl that there was no way she was going to change me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And an old car is an old. And so I just found the music, and this is what I learned from Nashville songwriting. You got to find these things.
Right.
You got to find these things to, songwriting. You just can't come out and say what it is. You got to come up with these little different things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or twist it a little bit.
Yeah.
Set it up like a joke and pull the rug out for that.
Yeah.
That's what I love about songwriting.
And that time I did feel like an old used car, and I kept coming up. It took me a long time to write that, Anna, didn't it?
I like that song.
Yeah, it took me a long time to.
Reminded me of a long
Especially that bridge. That bridge, it's like, you could fill me up with your love, but it won't burn clean. I was like, finally, it took me forever to come with that line, right? Yeah. Because I'm running rough, so give up on this old machine.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like when I got that part, I was really happy. I was like, but it took me That was one of my longest songs. It took me 6 months. And now Anna helps me out with a lot of the songs. We co-write. We call it editing.
Editing.
She edits, Anna. She's like, you need to say it this way. Like even today in the car, we were talking about a song. You need to turn that line around.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, it's like, So Anna, it's great to have Anna to bounce stuff off.
Yeah.
And
that's what I love about this town, because you get constructive criticism like that. Like you gave me last night. You say, hey, did you ever think about doing it this way? Yeah. And like, wow, no, I never did.
Yeah.
And that's how the community is here, songwriting. Yeah. That's what I love about Nashville.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
everybody encourages everybody.
Yeah, you have to be, diplomatic about it, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody, a song, I guess a song can always be better. Yeah. But you have to, sometimes you have to say, this is it. Mm-hmm. This is the way I'm doing it.
This is it.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna play you one tonight. Me and my friend Tom Leonard.
I know Tom.
Tom, we've tried to rewrite this song.
He's a great singer, great guy.
I'll play that one last. I'll probably play some upbeat.
Good.
I'll play that one last. But
we've written one together too, Tom and I, that I really like.
Yeah.
He's a gifted lyricist.
He is.
He really is.
And he kept trying to. It's like, well, he pitched it, and the publisher loved it. They said, but. No one's cutting songs about 50-year-old men anymore. I'm like, well, I don't care, Tom. I'm like, I'm not changing the integrity of this tune for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And
that's where you record it yourself and put it out there. That's what I like about today's music climate. And a lot of people are just doing that. I'm going to record it and I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
Make it available. And
looking for the big buck, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
But, let's face it, songwriting's not as lucrative as it was back in the day. When I moved here, you had a Reba cut or anybody cut.
Yeah.
You were set.
Especially
if you had the album title cut. Just a cut would get you $150,000-$300,000.
Yeah, because people were buying records, and you got the mechanical royalties for that.
Yes,
which has totally disappeared today. So they go after the radio play, and we've talked a little bit about this in the past. I'm an old radio guy, but as far as discovering new music. Radio is not the place that people are going to discover new music. When we were kids, you didn't go anywhere without your radio.
Of course, man.
And that's where I discovered Bruce Springsteen, like we talked before. But today,
and FM.
AM and FM, that's right. But today it's different. And what we have to do is not count so much on the mechanical royalties, but on what's getting airplay and what's going on TV and the sync, as we talked about TV and movies. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But
adapt or die.
Adapt or die. Exactly right.
Yes.
And there are people in this town that are making good money writing songs.
Well, that's what hurt country music for a long time. They did not.
Who are they? Who are they?
They did not want to adapt for a while.
If I find one, I'll get them on this show and we'll talk about that. While you're tuning up from the Drop D, I'm going to ask you a question. We talked in the past about how I just hate to put people in a genre. You know what I mean? I think that's for the record companies and the people that are marketing music. That's fine. But I hate to say, well, you're a folk artist, you're a country artist, you're a rocker, you're a blues player. I think you define your own way. Yeah. And if you look at the really great artists today, they've blazed their own trail, and the genre followed them. You know what I mean? Or they created their own, right?
Bob Seger,
right? Bruce Springsteen, like we talked about.
Style music for adults.
Yeah.
Well,
but even people like Taylor Swift and Madonna. I mean, really, if you think about it, Dolly Parton, good example. So I guess I say all that to ask you, how would you describe your music, your style?
I've tried. Some people have called me urban folk.
Urban folk. I like that.
I like that term.
I
tell people singer-songwriter. People always ask me why you came to Nashville if you're not writing country music. But I did. I chased that. Mm-hmm. I chased that for a while. I hung out in Music Row. Yeah. I did the thing. You hung out with bars and hung with people late night, and
that's when Music Row existed. More than half it's gone.
And that's what got me in big trouble.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to get into what goes on, but they say nothing happens good after midnight.
Right.
You get, and I've known guys. There's guys in this town I could tell you by name that have just literally made a career out of just hanging out with people long enough, and they say, "Hey, come along," and you add a line or two to a song. We go, and I've been in many of those sessions.
You were in the room when the song
I was in the room down on 16th Avenue, just hanging out in the but it never worked out. But my heart was never really in it, and I wasted some time. I'll be honest with you, Dave. I should have followed I was chasing fame.
Yeah.
And you know, you can't.
So if you had it to do all over again.
Yeah, if I had to do it over. I would just come here and do what I do, and not worry about what other people think I should be doing.
You know, that is such a good point.
Yeah.
And as soon as you said that, I flashed back to Willie Nelson, who's a fantastic artist.
Well, there you go.
I mean, there he goes. He tried to fit in, be that square peg in the round hole in Nashville for years, and it just wasn't happening. And it wasn't until he went back to Texas and did Willie.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, country embraced him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. He had some hits, you know.
But,
you know, but more as a songwriter than an artist, you know. You know. But anyway, I mean, I hear what you're coming.
Yeah. I love being here. No regrets. None whatsoever. I'll be 58 years old this coming year. But
you'll be 57.
57
in October.
Oh,
sure.
So you've been calling yourself 57 for your entire 56 years.
Well, isn't that great that you're younger than you thought you were?
I'm 58. I'm actually 2 years older than him at this point.
That's crazy. All right, really? So this 57?
You're 56. Right?
56 right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't look at it, man. You look a day over 50.
Well, I work in the restaurant business at QC. I work with a lot of young people. And,
do you? They keep you young.
Oh, they do, and it's nice.
Circles around that.
I bet.
Hopefully they're not listening to this, but they do. I do. I hang around with a lot of young people. I mean, actually, you're a great guy. I would love to hang out with you. Let's have some Jameson, some beers.
Yeah.
But most people my age, I find I've gotten very
old
and just like self-righteous. Like
I got you. Yeah,
like they're owed something. Like they.
Right.
World don't owe you nothing, man. You make your own way. Believe me,
absolutely.
You know, I'm glad to be where I am today. You know, it's I first moved to Nashville. I lived in 19 different places in 1 year. What? Lived in my car. I came with 13 guitars, and I'm down to 2.
13 guitars.
I had my
living
car
in your
packed.
car.
Yep.
There's the first line of a song. 13 guitars, living in my car.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well,
all right, let's write a song right now.
You know, back then people would rent you a room and you'd sing in a room and you'd find out these people were really kind of freaked out. They were just trying to make a couple bucks off. You get into a room for a couple of days and you never know. You have to keep your door locked, and it was scary. It was scary. It's scary to live that kind of lifestyle. But I was hardcore. It was me. It's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I always felt I had something to prove. I come from a musical family, from other brothers that followed music and quit, and I wanted to be the one.
Yeah.
And, but so I did what I had to do.
So both mom and dad played music?
Yeah, my mom sang operettas on Broadway. My dad.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad played music by ear. But then his ear got really big and it hurt. I'm only kidding. It's a joke. And yeah, my brother was a fantastic drummer. God rest his soul. He had passed. And my second, my brother Curtis was a fabulous, could play anything. So I grew up around music, hearing music.
Great.
My first time I heard Sunshine I Love when I was 4 years old. So yeah, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, all that stuff. Jethro Tull.
Try to imagine when that was a new sound.
Yeah. And I didn't like music when I was a kid. I wanted to be a baseball player.
Did you really?
Yeah, I know you're a big baseball. Oh, yeah.
I love baseball.
I was good.
Yeah.
I was actually an alternate for the Toms River Little League World Champion team back in the 70s.
And what was your position?
Catcher.
Catcher.
Believe it or not.
Called a good game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because catcher sees the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had enough pitchers. They just needed, I could hit. I was a skinny little kid, but I could hit. I probably batted 800 in Little League.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I was, yes. I was on base all the time. I was. People
That's
would
great.
come. People
You're
would
the
come,
Pete Rose of your day.
People would come and see me when I played when I was a kid. They wouldn't leave. There was a doubleheader. It's like, let's see the Spanburgh kid hit. Oh, yeah, man.
That's great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
now, do you have a baseball song?
I got a boxing song.
Oh, well, that's close enough.
Yes. I got a sports song.
Oh, good. Let's do it.
He called himself Philly the Kid, same as his daddy did. Born with his muscles, but not his chin. He'd say, keep on throwing punches till you hear that bell ringing. And as long as you're standing now, go down swinging. He supported his family, working on the docks, and he'd head down to the gym right after he punched the clock. He's a little past his prime, he knows that's what they're all thinking. But as long as he's standing now, he's gonna go down swinging. He tell me, don't let a good pitch to hit pass you by. Don't let a good woman get away if she catches your eye. And time marched on, and he never got a shot. He's another local hero that time forgot. And he'll find his glory one day when he hears those angels singing. And as long as he's standing now, he'll go down swinging. My John Prine. Yeah. Now the last time I saw him, he was lying in his bed. The doctors told him that they've done all they can. He regaled me with old stories, and he never stopped grinning. And late that night he gave up the fight, but he went down swinging. You see, late that night he gave up the fight, but he went down swinging.
I can tell you right now, it didn't take you 5 minutes to write that song, did it?
It did it. You're right.
Yeah, that was a labor of love, I'll bet.
Yeah. Once again, my friend Danny Zimba, who's a big boxer guy, he's a boxing judge in town, here in town. We used to watch a lot of boxing, and and it's, you just hear words, you hear something, phrases. He goes, and it's like, and I think he said to me, he goes, man, well, I said, man, I got to ask you. He goes, hey, you went down swinging though. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so I know I'm getting a little emotional here though.
That's okay. I love it when you do.
Yeah. Sure. My father passed when I was 17.
That's
he died of leukemia. And it was during, it was pre-AIDS epidemic, and they kept giving him blood transfusions. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't take. And we're like, the doctor's like, his heart's good, all his organs are good, but it just, they couldn't figure it out why it was. And I'll never forget, I was the last person in my father's room. Mm-hmm. And when he passed, and I was in the room, and his heart was beating, but he was already comatose, and the wind blew in the window, and the wind blew out the window, and he passed away. And they figured out afterwards that the blood he was getting was tainted.
Oh my!
It was tainted because he couldn't get his white or all that chromosomes. I'm not a doctor, but couldn't get it up. I know. Yeah. I know. Now you know why my songs are so deep. They're
very deep.
My father was
very good.
60 when I was born. My mom was 40 when I was born. So I'm an old soul.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So when I had to come up with that line. The last time I saw him, he was lying in his bed. The doctors told me, and they said to my father, "That's all." I'll never forget. My dad called my mom in the room. He said, "Pour me a shot of gin," and then he did a shot of gin.
Did he really?
And then my mom was like, "It's your turn to go." And then when I went in, I guess he knew he was gonna go, and then I went in there. But that's where I got that line from. Yeah. But like I said, just. You take a story, just put a little bit of yourself. It's just like life, man. Put yourself into anything that you do. A little of yourself. Have some compassion. Think about what other people are going through and what they might have been through, or this and that. And I know I'm probably getting a little heavy for you on this podcast.
No, this is exactly what this podcast is about. Well, getting inside the head of the songwriter.
This is where it comes from. Yeah. Everything I played for you is part of me. But I learned to make it into a story because of Nashville.
Right.
And I I could not be the person or the writer I am if I was, here. And without Anna, and and without that, I would never be that person. I wrote a lot of love songs, and Anna always says a lot of songs about my feelings, which you hear a lot today. I don't write songs about feelings. I write songs about emotions. And that's feelings and emotions.
Those hit you harder.
They're different. That's right.
They do. Yes, they do. So let me. Juliet's back here rolling around on the floor underneath the dining room table. Yeah. Oh, she loves you. She's letting you scratch your belly. Good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Dave, thanks for having us, man.
It's very good to have you. I was going to ask you, before you play another song, so you've been here for 20 years. You've seen this town change a lot, have you?
Yeah. I have. I mean, structural wise, this is. Yeah. It's just, this town is. It's gotten expensive to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I honestly.
Housing is.
Yes. I mean, it kind of pushed my career in a different way because I don't know how these young kids come here and make it. To be honest with you.
I don't even.
When I moved here in '98, I was in a good class. I was in a class with Mindy Smith, Trent Thomason, who's big.
Trent, fantastic.
Yes. Who's the other guy? Chris, who wrote all the songs. The big guy, honey.
Chris Knight.
Chris Wallen.
He's
class of '98. Big and Rich.
Big and Rich. Wow.
Yeah, I came in.
You were here this Broken Spoke days then, right?
Exactly.
Did you play this? Yeah.
That's what I was just going to say.
Did you play a lot at the Broken Spoke?
All the time. It was my first place. I came in and sat there.
We're going to get Lee on the show. Lee Riscone. We're going to get him on the show.
Well, Debbie Champion was running, and Lee, and then Barbara Cloyd.
And Barbara Cloyd, that's right.
And those were the days when you could go out and somebody heard it, and that's where I got my first publishing deal.
Is it really?
Someone heard me.
Yeah.
And I worked for Michael O'Rear Publishing. I was on with Dean Dillon, Dylan Dixon.
Wow.
Christine Mannion.
Dylan Dixon's another.
I
love him. Yeah, great guy. Yeah.
But that was one of my almost moments.
Mm-hmm.
And
you had a publishing deal. That's great.
I did. But what happened was that the year that I was with them, or the 2 years, in 98, 99, the two number one hits came from independent publishers in town.
Isn't that something?
And Sony ATV and Chapel, they weren't too happy about this.
Oh, bad.
So they went out and they what they did is they went and just sourced all the writers from these independent writing companies, and the writers went because they offered them big money. And then I was left with just me and Christy Manna and a couple other people left with Michael O'Rear. And
Christy had a big hit.
Yeah. She has
Blake Shelton.
Yeah, and she also has
Boston.
She also has a song called "Dash Between the Dates." That's huge.
Yes.
I was in this thing, but they sucked all those big writers out of those small publishers, and because they didn't like them. So I was just new to town. I was just here. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. I was as green, but. I had one song, the song called "Turnaround" that I did, and I did real well with it. I won Nashville Songwriters magazine contest #1 song, and wow. I did really well when I first got here. I just had a lot of I use the word chutzpah.
I hate to put you on the spot, but is that a song you still do?
I don't. I don't do it anymore. I actually, if you remember, do you remember? Mars Music over in...
I do remember Mars Music.
They used to have this thing, the world's largest open mic contest.
We had that in Cincinnati, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And me and Mindy Smith won it tied for first 2 years in a row.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
and
great.
I got a guitar. And
you got a guitar? Wow.
And the prize also was to play the Tin Pan South Festival.
Yeah,
that's how Mindy got discovered. And I was on that festival, but... it didn't happen for me.
And, you mentioned it, so I'll just say that is a good time to come to Nashville if you're listening from outside of Nashville and you want to get a taste of what songwriting is all about. Yeah. Tin Pan South happens down here usually in April. Yeah. The COVID thing changed it last couple of years.
And the Americana Fest is here, too.
Americana Fest, too. Yeah. Those are just great times to come to Nashville because all these venues open up to great songwriters and artists.
Yeah.
And these are the people that you see that work real hard, writing the songs. And they may not be top of the mind awareness to you that you hear on the radio, but you'd be surprised at the songs they wrote. You listen and you go, wow, he wrote that.
We could do the things that the people that I've met in this town. Yeah. We could do another podcast. I could tell you some more. I've been here, like I said, 22 years.
Yeah.
I could tell you.
You've seen them come and go.
Real quick, I'll never forget. I'm working down at the Gibson Cafe downtown.
I loved that place. I loved it.
My manager says there's going to be a knock on the door. Answer that door at 8 o'clock. Here's a guy standing at the guitar. He goes, "Hi, my name's Garth. I'm here to play." I'm like, "What?" And there he is with Kent Blasey and all those guys. And that was my first. I'm sitting here, like here I am, right next to these guys. And I just got here, so I had this good feeling about myself and about, couldn't help but feel good about yourself. Because you're hanging around with these people. Even if you're just behind the bar, you're getting to see these people play. So I'm very fortunate that happened.
And it rubs off. It does. You can't help but rub off.
It sure does.
Yeah. I was talking to a young writer last night who has been here a few years. And I asked her just that. I said, have you feel that you've grown as an artist and a writer just being in this town? She goes, oh, yeah. I think back 4 years ago when I first came here, and it doesn't even compare,
No.
And I totally get it. I've been working on a CD for like 4 years. Actually, it was 2.5 years.
Your own CD?
Yeah. And picked it up today, as a matter of fact. And I listened to it, and I think, all those songs seem old to me now.
Well,
I've got so many other...
Well, that's the way it is here. When I go back, I'll never get out my good friend Michael W. Smith, who plays in the band, Brittany Fox, who used to be with Cinderella. I used to play with these guys. I'm a big heavy metal guy. Yeah. I used to hang around with these guys, the guys from all those heavy metal bands out of Philly. And like, what do you do down there? It's like, well, man, we write songs. He's like, well, how many songs can you write? I said, Mike, there's like 1,000, 2,000 songs written here. And they're like, oh my God, that's crazy. But because up north, what we do is you rent your buddy's garage. You get in there, you write 10 songs, you cut an album, and that's what you do.
That's right.
And these are our 10 songs.
This is what it's going to be.
And you go out and you play. Yeah. Not down here, man.
Oh, man, no.
You know what? Any great songwriter will tell you, any poet will tell you, like, take your first 100 songs and just throw them away. Yeah. Start again. Now you can pull from that. You can pull from it, and I have. Believe me, I have. A lot of what I play now, a lot of my melodies come from songs I have written, and I have done that. Not so much to plagiarize myself, but I'll be like,
different point of view now.
Different. Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's the best word. Yeah. Cool, man.
Very cool. Well, let's have another one and take us out with a great song. Robert Spanburgh is our guest today on the Songwriter Connection podcast. What a talent. I've really enjoyed hearing your songs and getting to know you a little bit better. And Anna, too, providing the background vocals. This has been a fun show.
Go do it.
Guitar sounds so good. That's a Gibson.
New strings.
Yeah.
It's a new Gibson J20. Anybody out there looking for a guitar? Don't want to spend a lot of money? There's a lot of good new guitars. I've noticed walnut's being introduced because there's not a lot of wood left in some places. But walnut seems to be the new. So anyway, real quick. Great. I used to spend some time in Watertown. I used to volunteer at the Country Music Hall of Fame for 20 years. I used to go around teach kids about songwriting. And,
that's great.
I would take their lyrics and turn them into songs. And I used to go down to Watertown a lot. And so I'm writing this song and I'm playing it. It's like, I need a word. I need a word here. And it turned out to be Watertown. I'm standing on the corner of Watertown Square, and I watch them throw their blue caps into the air, golden tassels shining in the sun, long may they run. And I was once where they are now, and I swore on that day that I'd be getting out. Wouldn't be a victim of their small town ways. Now look at me today. I can't remember when I had a dream that I could defend, but none of that matters now. I let my dreams drown here in Watertown. There's hard-working people here in this place. They'll stab you in the back, then they'll smile to your face. My grandiose ideas they've never embraced. Oh no. So I keep on trying to make it the best around here. Well, I'm filling up on hope to are all so full of fear. It's like driving a car that just won't steer. Yeah. Now I can't remember when I had a dream that I could defend. When the land matters down, I let my dreams drown here in Watertown. Now they'll tell you that life is what you make it, but if there was a claim here, they'd never let me stake it. But none of that matters now. No. So these days I spend a lot of time on my boat, and I get on the water and I just like to float, watching the current pass me by, just like my whole life. And I know that the apple don't fall far from the tree, 'cause there's a whole lot of apples around here just like me. It's hard to run when the roots run so deep. Now I can't remember when I had a dream that I could defend. When the land matters now, I let my dreams drown here in Watertown. Whoa, here in Watertown. Whoa, here in Watertown. Whoa.
Great song. The dining room table has never sounded better. Robert Spanburgh, our guest.
Thanks.
Look for Bob on the socials and find his music on Spotify, wherever you find music.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to do a new record. I'm getting
Good.
ready to make another push. I've been kind of back, but
Yeah.
I'm coming out.
You're coming out with a new...
I'm coming up.
with a fresh coat of paint.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, we're gonna be doing it. Yes. But thanks for having us, man.
Man, thanks for being on this show. Hope you'll join us next time. You know, in just a couple of weeks, we're going to have the original lead singer of REO Speedwagon. So, you know what? We don't do just
Kevin?
country music. Terry Luttrell is going to be
Terry
on our
Luttrell.
show.
He's original, yeah.
Original.
Before Kevin, yeah.
Before Kevin, yeah. And we'll hear the story about how that band started. And I can't wait. Yeah.
Keep on rolling.
It'll be a great show.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite
That's
songs.
coming up in just a couple of
Thank
weeks.
you, man.
Robert, Anna, thank you so much. Good to have you here.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.